have also done our best. The government upon government have contributed by supporting the women football. Just last year, we all witnessed the Black Princesses being the champions of Africa in the African Games, which was held here in Ghana. And that most of these players here are products from these Black Princesses. And anytime you see players graduating from junior team going to the national team and they are playing together, because they play more playing time, you get successes going forward. And I want to urge the FA to keep these players from the junior national team to graduate to the senior national team so that they can be winning medals for our country. Mr. Speaker, also, we shouldn't also forget that when COVID happened, for the first time, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ensured that all Premier League, Mr. Speaker, all women Premier League players were put on stipends, and they were paid stipends, and most of these players are beneficiaries of those stipends. The numerous astroturfs that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also constructed across Ghana, most of the premier clubs, women premier clubs, are playing on these astroturfs, and that is the result of these successes that we are talking. And I want to urge them that the government should continue to make sure that the initiative of getting every district a befitting sports facility should not be a thing of the past.
Let's address a couple of things Mustafa said in the parliamentary hearing. First thing, he's saying, well, we hosted the African Games and the Black Princesses who played in these African Games migrated onto the African Cup of Nations into the Black Queens. And then because of that, we deserve a pat on the back. Like, that's very preposterous. It's like saying, well, because Egypt in 2009 hosted the under-20 World Cup and Ghana had players who represented the black starlets in the under-20 and the under-20 level, and the players in the under-20 level, like that, you moved on to go play for the Black Stars. So because of that, Egypt is taking like credit for that. That's how preposterous he sounds. Doesn't make any sense. But then let's get back onto the African Games thing, because Mustafa is in big trouble. And that's how I see it with the African Games thing, causing financial loss to the state and stuff like that. He's being investigated as we speak. Not to even talk about his national service scandal. So trying to whitewash by using the African Games is very funny. It's not something I think is the strongest suit or strongest argument. But then secondly, he says, well, they give the Black Queens and Black Princesses some stipends during the COVID time, and because of that money, they get credit for that. And also AstroTurf. These are the three arguments he's using. AstroTurf. First things first. We know that we know that the Ghana government in itself, when it comes to priorities, they do not prioritize the Black Queens. Zero priorities. And you know, the thing I've realized about women's football is once you put the investment in, you see the work, and that's why Morocco has spun out of nowhere because they invested. Teams like Zambia spun out of nowhere because they invested. Ghana does not value, or Ghanaian politicians do not value the Black Queens. And it has to be said. If an ounce of investment they put into the Black Stars was put into the Black Queens, trust me, Nigeria wouldn't have like 10. Nigeria would probably have like 8 or 7 now. But then we put absolutely zero investment. If you think I'm lying, during Mustafa's government, during his own tenure, that's Mustafa's government, players were picketing and demanding monies they were not paid. And most of these players who did that were ostracized and never called up into the Black Queens anymore. You can check it up on YouTube. In fact, there are videos of it there. Players demanded their money. Even these Black Queens, which we are all waxing lyrical. Mind you, they didn't win. They were bronze. They won 3rd place. Unless we are saying now we are satisfied as a country with 3rd place. Prior to this tournament, their monies were not being released. Zero urgency, zero care for these people. But then they go do war with the limited resource they have. They turn out head and everybody wants to have a lick. It just doesn't make any sense. But then what's more frustrating to me as a Ghanaian is the lack of accountability on the side of these politicians. Like, zero accountability. Again, from the same Mustafa, the amount of money that was spent into the African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, the amount of money that was put into just playing the qualifiers for the next AFCON in Morocco this December, which we didn't qualify for. That amount of money, the zero accountability, zero output, zero benefits to the country, that amount of money wasted, even if a quarter was put into the female football, the Black Queens football, we would be achieving more. He's conveniently not mentioning that when the Black Queens went to play for the Paris Olympics, they had one of the best coaches who had been with them, which is Nora Hudler, who had been with them for a very long time, knew the girls well, like literally was one of the reasons for the renaissance of the Black Queens. That's and the, I don't normally big ups the GFA, but big ups the GFA because the club football thing was one of their priorities and it was yielding results. When we went to play the Paris Olympics and we did very well in Zambia, if not for a very funny penalty given to Zambia and Barbara Banda, Ghana should have qualified for the Paris Olympics. What did we do after that? Nora was requesting for, I know people say, oh, she already wanted to leave, but she was requesting for, I think, $1,000 or something like that. This is chicken change. This is change they give to the people who were doing Black Stars management members were even taking more than that money. Was requesting for that money. We refused to pay. Because we refused to pay, Zambia smashed her. I'm not saying Nora is an angel or a saint in any of this. But then if you have a coach who understands this team, who has coached this team for long, then you would back that coach rather than invest in a coach who just... Because Kim, who is the current Black Queens coach, has not been with this team for long. If Kim was able to achieve third place with this team, it's not 100% sure, but then I am confident that Nora would have achieved better and much with this team. And these are the things we are not going to talk about, and again, this is how normally these things happen. They do well, everybody wants to take their lick because that's how politics work. Everybody will say, I did this, I did that. People were not speaking about these girls when they were going. They come back, everybody wants to be their friend. We are not going to do anything about it, and then we go for our next Wafcon, and then we don't achieve. This is giving me signs of Black Stars performing in the semi-finals. It's really to us as a country to do something about it, but politicizing this doesn't make any sense.